Welcome to TechWorks, where you'll see some of the most beautiful cars ever manufactured in New York State, along with racing action from around the area. Practice from Watkins Glen, the ISMA Tudor teams were on hand, and the blast from the past at Tri-Cities Airport. All that and more on this edition of The Race Report. Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of the Race Report. I'm Ron Hills. Rain may have washed away some racing action last weekend, but two great car shows helped pass the time with fellow motorheads. On Saturday, TechWorks in Binghamton was the site of the 4th annual Technology That Drives Us car show with these two beautiful Larrabee trucks, both manufactured in Binghamton, on display. The fire truck was on loan from the Binghamton Fire Department and the delivery truck from the Mike Stolarczyk collection. One of the most popular cars on display was this 1929 Ford Racer that has competed in the Great American Race, driven by Elliott Wrights and his navigator and wife, Judy. He gave Brett Cross and you a close-up look at this classic.
29 Ford. It's
what you got here?
A lot different than what you showed us there today. And the technology is back in the 20s. And 20s, the steering wheel is quite large, like you said. Just try to turn the steering wheel there once, you'll see what I mean.
I can't imagine it. And
Very
you
tough.
go a lot farther than a race than we do, too. You must know
Very,
you did it
very
work
tough.
out when you're done.
Yeah, you do. And but when you're moving, it's a little easier.
Yeah, right.
And then, let's see, it has, you're allowed to put hydraulic shocks on the back.
Okay, yeah.
And the gas tank sits back here, which isn't a very good thing to do, and there's no baffles in it or anything like that. This is a fuel shutoff right there.
Okay.
That you have to have for some of the tracks.
Uh-huh.
This is the 2-speed rear end and the emergency brake. Engine was made in 31, and it's a Model B engine, but it has Miller overhead valves, and this is an original Miller engine done by Harry Miller back in the 30s. And Harry perfected this when they put this on the V8 engine, and then he sold it to Offenhauser, and Offenhauser put it on all the racetracks.
Yeah, that's a very.
So Harry Miller was considered the guru of racing for years and years. They call it the Miller Dynasty.
Yeah, I remember the name, and those Offenhauser heads became very famous at Indy.
Yes, and midgets, all of them had Offenhauser engines.
Right.
So that's like half of an Offenhauser.
There you go.
Now we
Is
were
it
allowed
cheaper that way?
I think so. I have it. It has an alternator on it. You're allowed to convert to 12 volts.
Nice.
And of course, it has regular ignition in it. This is my horn right here. You see this see that little thing right there, Ron? You watch that. Watch that horn. That's the horn.
What these are.
Now these, you tighten them up, and that gives you a little more stability on the front end.
So,
and it's just friction is all it is.
friction shock,
Friction
right?
shock. That's what
right.
they called this a dog bone there.
Uh-huh.
These are brake rods. When you put on the brakes, it pulls these back.
Uh-huh. Mechanical.
And mechanical brakes. That's exactly right.
Right.
And of course, we got the lights for the road running. And up here is a cooler.
Oh.
Now, this is modern air conditioning. You fill this with ice when you're out in the desert, and put this down, and then as the air is drafted through here, it goes out those 4 plastic things down to your legs, and it feels really good.
Yeah, I bet.
It's like having air conditioning, and it lasts about 2 hours, which is about one leg of the race.
Sure.
It'll go 105, according to what people tell me. But 105, but I've only had it up to 85, and that was on a 6-lane highway going in. There was 8-lane going into Mexico City. Everybody was passing me up through 60, 65, 70, 75, and 80. And Judy says, "No more. We're not going any faster." And the car was just literally shaking. I mean, shaking. So we slowed down. Everybody passed us, and but that's the fastest I've had it up, and it literally shakes all over. I mean, you can try to balance the wheels as much as you want. And
yeah, the wire
like
spoke
that.
wheels probably have a certain
and
limit.
and they're not straight, and you know.
Right.
But at 65, you cruise along quite nicely.
I
At
have
65.
to say, in addition to it being cool, it's a very pretty car.
Thank you.
The black and gold lettering looks
Yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, I always like that too.
Right.
And I still have the sticker on it. That was 1995. So the car will be eligible for historic preservation at AACA, next year?
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's been around in Mexico. The Mexicans crawled all over the car,
Oh, yeah.
and you know there's not a scratch on it.
Huh.
They would hand their kids to us when we were going through towns. They would do all kinds of hand babies to
They
us.
liked
flowers.
seeing you
and-
come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'd walk for miles, sometimes a couple days, to get to see the cars go by.
Right.
And we had police escorts and helicopters and all that. They made it safe, but
must have been
you couldn't
fun.
do it today, I don't
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I mean, a car like this is valuable, and
Right.
they would perceive it as something they could turn into money.
Oh, yeah.
And a guy that does motorcycles did all this artwork for me there. He's in jail now. And we had it in the AACA museum for a year. And the guy over there at the muffler place over there by where the dogs are, they built the one piece. It had the short stock
right.
thing up there. I had to put this on it. Then I put the covering on it so people didn't burn themselves. Kids are always running up to it.
Right.
And we keep telling them, watch, that's hot, but then they didn't. Now, BCC allowed me to put their logo on there, and the reason was they put an announcement in their alumni newspaper, they're off. And the idea was for the BCC alumni from all over the world, wherever they were, if they were in that town where we come in, they would come and look up my car. So I found IBMers scattered all over the place, especially when I got to Austin, Texas. There must have been 35 of them there, and they were there to see us. And of course, they got the newsletter and said we were coming.
Makes a connection across the country.
Yes, it did. And I even found an old guy that graduated from BCC in 1949 in Mexico City, on the finish line of all places. So.
Did he know you were coming, or he just happened to be there?
Yeah, no, he knew we were coming. He was an older guy. Well, I shouldn't say too much older than me, but he was quite a guy.
Tell us about the route and some of the highlights of that particular race.
Well, the route took us half part of the day is on big highways, interstates, but then the rally each day is on back roads. And so when you're going down through Texas and desert parts of the country, down towards Laredo, it's very flat. While other parts of the route took us over the Smoky Mountains and places like that, it was very curvy. And then once we got the paperwork cleared and got into Mexico, we went over those that big mountain range in Mexico with a lot of hairpin turns and back and forth. In those days, after when I come in at night to go to bed, my arms and shoulders would just kill me from the turns. They were all hairpin turns. But basically, the idea of the race is to keep you under the speed limit, although you're mostly going over it, because if you stop, you lose a little time. Accelerate, you lose a little time. You turn, you lose a little bit of time. So you're always making up time. And making up time usually involves 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, or over what you're supposed to be going.
Your navigator is supposed to be trying to help you figure all that out.
And they're supposed to be keeping that all figured out, and so you're basically behind time all the time. And so it seems like you're going like hell all the time. And in one of these old cars that's shaking and rattling, it's pretty nerve-wracking. but there's no windshield on there.
I see that.
And so when it rains, you get wet.
Oh, wow.
The
I hadn't
bugs.
thought about rain.
You
I
eat,
was thinking about dirt.
you eat the bugs. In fact, everybody has these. These are for bugs.
Oh.
More bugs than anything else. And there's debris hits you too, but not like on a track. And this protects your skin from the big bugs. I mean, they go whack. They sound like somebody shot you with a .22, and they leave a big splat mark on there. But these are invaluable. And like I said, when it rains, you get wet, and you sit in it for 2 hours till you get a chance to get out. The rest of your body's dry, but
Yeah.
the part that you sit on is wet. So the next car that I've got after that one, I sold it. We drilled holes in the seat, so that didn't
drain
become a
out.
problem. Yes, that didn't become a problem.
Yeah.
There's a lady here. She's sitting up there, Judy Wrights, a navigator, and I would be remiss if I didn't say that she kept that all together there and kept our uniforms organized and stuff like that. So ESPN did a thing on it on the race, and they featured us in the race. And so every day they'd come and interview us. And of course the girls are supposed to look good, and guys are supposed to look like they're fresh, you know. And we were beat every day riding this thing.
I bet.
And dirty. My face is dirty.
Sure.
One day there was a forest fire someplace. When I lifted my goggles off, I looked like a raccoon. My
bet.
face was black. So was hers. And but anyway, it was a lot of fun. And you know, while I'm talking to you here, I really enjoyed your talk there today about the technology.
Good.
And you know, we were talking about the steering wheels, power steering, seat belts,
Right.
seat
Yeah.
extensions, that helmet, this helmet,
Right.
the
Yeah,
goggles,
how
your
things
space
evolve.
thing,
Yeah.
and everything, you know, fit in there. And I'm really glad to be a part of this history today here, and I'm glad you were here
Good.
to share
Yeah,
it with us there.
I enjoyed myself a lot, and like I was telling Dr. George, I don't consider myself to be a public speaker, but when you
Me either.
you give me a topic of race cars, I can talk all day long.
There you go. That's true. Hey, you got backed up on that.
Yeah.
Along with the incredible cars on display, Raymond Corporation Product Manager Arlen Purdy, race driver Brett Cross, and Dr. Gary George presented a variety of topics, including vehicle propulsion systems and motorsport safety. On Sunday, Tri-Cities Airport was host to the 5th annual Blast from the Past Car Show and Hall of Fame inductions. We'll take you there when we return, but first a look at race results from around the area.
You're watching the Race Report on Fox 40.
Satico's Catholic Shop on Endicott's Washington Avenue has offered our Catholic community the finest selection of religious gifts, holy medals, rosaries, statues, and more. Visit Satico's Catholic Shop, Washington Avenue, Endicott.
Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City has the best pricing and selection of audio, video, and computer cables in the area. Don't spend a fortune on that HDMI cable for your new HD TV or Blu-ray player. Unicorn Electronics has quality cables in the lengths you need at a price you can afford. Expanding your network, Unicorn has the patch cables and accessories to make it happen. When you need to connect, think Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City.
Foundation alert! Foundation alert!
Pick me! Pick me!
We don't badmouth the competition.
Huh?
We just beat them in price, quality, and customer service.
Hi, this is Craig Moss with KRM Foundation Repair. If you got water in the basements,
cracked or flaking foundations, foundation walls that are falling in, call us for a free estimate today. We're KRM Foundation Repair. Good as any, better than some.
Bye-bye.
30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyers program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Race fans love to eat. Whether they're grilling on the patio while watching the race on the big screen or tailgating at their favorite track, race fans young and old know that before you start the fire, you start the flavor. That's why Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce has teamed up with the Race Report and Chubby Sports Bar to make sure those fans have the winning marinades ready for the green flag. Every Monday night, the Race Report films their weekly television show at Chubby's Sports Bar in Johnson City, followed by an hour of racing trivia presented by Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce. And the first 25 people to sign up for the trivia contest will receive one of the many delicious Salamita products made right here in Johnson City. For more information about the Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce Racing Trivia, log on to theracereport.tv. To make your cookouts better than ever, check out speedy.com.
You're watching the Race Report on Fox 40.
Welcome back to the Race Report. This was the scene at the 5th annual Blast from the Past car show in Endicott, where hundreds of car lovers gathered to check out each other's rides and remember the great days of drag racing at Tri-Cities Airport. Wally Bell talked with Hall of Fame members past and present.
Well, Ron, we're here with Gary Eldred, an old friend, coincidentally, who was just inducted in the Hall of Fame here at Tri-Cities Dragway. Gary, is kind of a special day.
Sure, it is a special day, a real special day. Brings back a lot of memories. Too bad Bob Chipper and Don Ritordo's not here.
Yep, and Doug Wheaton. I know. We're losing far too many.
Yep.
Gary, because Ron hosts one of the, I know you watch it, he's got that great Race Report TV show.
Known Ron for a good many years, all the way back from the Mike Rods.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, the Mike Rods. You went all the way to some super modifieds.
Yep. He run super for 5 years. Scott did. Done real good.
I was going to say, that's not for the faint-hearted.
No, he said you'd never get a rush in your life like you do when you come out of the corner with one of those supers.
Well, that's great. I was always proud of you because you had that great kid and he was talented.
You're the winners, so
you took him down the road. That's great.
He took after his mother. He drove like her, not like me.
Well, Gary, I can assure the audience that you were one heck of a good drag racer and certainly a great competitor and great guy to be around. And you carried that Pontiac moniker very well.
Nothing back then but Pontiacs. At Hotchkiss and that's what you had to have.
Way to go, guys. You have some beautiful cars. Thank you for bringing them out.
I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad we're here to share this with you.
But you did a good job. Thank you again, guys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Chuck Briggs. Chuck, big day.
Big day today, yes, big day.
You sure deserved it, and as I've said on stage, man, you were talked about recently and at length. You're one of the sharp guys I ever knew. And, I want to add this, you're a hell of a good driver.
I hope so. We won enough.
You did win enough, and you helped me win a bunch of stuff.
Yep.
And, Chuck, congratulations, and hope we get to see each other for many years.
I hope so, too, Wally.
Thank you. Okay, Ron, we're here with Paul Mesmer. Paul, big day, Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah, it is. It is a big day. I mean, I didn't expect anything this year, and I think it's an honor to be included with you guys.
Well, thank you. It is. It's a great group. And you've put your time and effort into this thing from day one in the old days and back when we were all young kids, and you're working your butt off on it now. And I know Bob and Sally and all the recipients of this whole program appreciate what you do, and you've been around racing all your life.
ever since Paul Motzko took me to my first drag race.
We're going to get the Hall of Famers.
Pretty wild, isn't it?
All the Hall of Famers from
I was 13 or 14 years old.
If you could come up here,
and then I caught the disease.
You know,
it's
and that's what it
incredible.
is. It's a disease.
Well, congratulations, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Elaine, you have the prettiest car here, so tell me about it.
Oh.
Tell us about the car and where you got it and what you've done to it.
My pretty red Corvette. It came from California, and I can't think of the man's name right off the top of my head that painted it, but it was in magazines in California, and it found its way to New York, and we decided we needed to have it.
What year is it?
2000.
Now, you save this for special days, or do you drive this on a daily basis?
I try to drive it whenever the weather is nice. Throw the top down and off we go. I always wanted a Corvette. That has been my longtime love, and we've had 2 others, and this is my favorite so far. I say if it's that pretty, it needs to go slow so you can see it.
As always, my thanks to Wally Bell for his great interviews, and that's no surprise because Wally himself was inducted in the first round balloting into the Tri-Cities Dragway Hall of Fame.
You're watching the Race Report on Fox 40.
Race fans love to eat. Whether they're grilling on the patio while watching the race on the big screen or tailgating at their favorite track, race fans young and old know that before you start the fire, you start the flavor. That's why Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce has teamed up with the Race Report and Chubby Sports Bar to make sure those fans have the winning marinades ready for the green flag. Every Monday night, the Race Report films their weekly television show at Chubby's Sports Bar in Johnson City, followed by an hour of racing trivia presented by Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce. And the first 25 people to sign up for the trivia contest will receive one of the many delicious Salamita products made right here in Johnson City. For more information about the Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce racing trivia, log on to theracereport.tv. To make your cookouts better than ever, check out Speedy.com.
98.1 The Hawk, #1 for 20 in a row.
This is Jason Aldean.
Hot New Country.
This is Luke Brown.
And kiss tomorrow goodbye.
This is Charles, Dave,
and Hillary.
And we are
Lady Annabella. And I don't know why you don't take me downtown anymore.
Binghamton's Hot New Country.
This is Carrie Underwood. Every tear soaked whiskey memory blown away.
Binghamton's Hot New Country. 98.1 The Hawk.
Satico's Catholic Shop on Endicott's Washington Avenue has offered our Catholic community the finest selection of religious gifts, holy medals, rosaries, statues, and more. Visit Satico's Catholic Shop, Washington Avenue, Endicott.
Oh, 30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyers program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Welcome back to the Race Report. Testing continues at Watkins Glen International in preparation for the upcoming Salem 6 Hours at the Glen.
When did you first start coming?
20 years ago this month was my first race at Watkins Glen. It's forever since been my favorite racetrack, and it's been the site
a lot of milestones and achievements in my career. So this is hands down my favorite racetrack and the best place I've raced, and also hands down just the most challenging track in North America. My passion grew as the vision of Jim Francis series took roots in 2000 and 2001 as I kind of just got into the sports car scene, and I loved the direction that they were taking with that, and I was able to build a career in sports cars from that, and have really grown to love that ideology of where they wanted to go. So it's been very cool. I've been fortunate to do a lot of other different kinds of motorsport and enjoy other kinds of motorsport as well, and but my career has been mainly sports car based, and the last 4 years with Magnus Racing has actually been some of the best highlights that I've had. So it's been cool. As I've been getting older, I'm still adding to achievements instead of looking back on yesteryear. So it's been cool, and this being the 20th anniversary of my first time at Watkins Glen, it's cool looking back on a lot of those memories, including recent ones.
How did you do your first time at Watkins Glen?
I won. But it was an SEC regional, so it wasn't a big deal. It was Formula 440 back in the day, and we took pole and won it. But it was 6 or 8 cars, a small regional race. So it was, but it was fun, and I got hooked. I did my first ever pro race here in the F2000 series in 1996. I started my first ever Sprint Cup Series start here in 2009. Got my first ever NASCAR Top 10 here. I won 3 6 Hours of the Glens in 2004, 7, and 10, and have had a lot of really good. Have been on the podium here in the 6 Hour the last 2 years in a row. So I love this place. It's where hopefully myself, John, and the whole Magnus team will kind of help turn the season around. That's kind of the goal.
That's a good I didn't do any of those things, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
And for more info on the upcoming Salem 6 Hours of the Glen, log on to theglen.com. This season, The Race Report is on Twitter. You can follow us at The Race Report TV. Please join us Monday night at Chubby's Sports Bar in Johnson City for The Race Report at 7 p.m., followed by Racing Trivia at 8, presented by Salamita State Fair Speedy Sauce. This week's special guest is sportsman driver Travis Smith. For all of us at The Race Report, thanks for watching. Until next week, I'm Ron Hills, and I'll see you at the races.